Thanks so much for joining us today for Foster Friday Live. We're so glad that you are tuning in with us. If you will, when you check in, just shoot us a comment to let us know that you're here. Feel free to ask questions and give responses to what the girls are saying today. We are so excited to have Mary Austin and Ella Adair here with us. They have been in a family that's fostering for the past 5 years. They've had about 20 kids come through their home. And one of the questions we hear the most often is, the concerns we hear are about how foster care is going to impact biological and previously adopted children. So we are so excited to have y'all here today, and you are going to get the sweet and sour of all of it. So I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
I'm Mary Austin Adair. I'm about to be a sophomore at Clinton High School.
And I'm Ella Adair, and I'm about to start my 8th grade year at Clinton Middle School.
So tell us a little bit about, and their mom Jill has been on Foster Friday Live with us before, but tell us a little bit about your family, who's in it, what is your involvement with foster care?
So it's us and my little brother are the bio kids, and then we have one placement right now who's about to turn 1. So yeah, it's crazy. And then we take in respite kids here and there, and we have one right now. So, yeah.
And then we've just been helping out a lot, and my mom runs the foster closet at the DSS office.
Yeah, so your family really has lots of touch points with foster care. So not just welcoming kids into your home, but having kids for a short time, being part of the Lawrence Foster Parent Association, running the foster share closet at DSS. So lots of ways that they've been involved. So talk to us a little bit about, take us back 5 years ago. So how old were you guys when you started fostering?
I was 10.
10?
I was about 5 or 6.
Okay, and how old was Jack, the little one?
He was
3,
3.
3, so really little. So wide age range of kids. Hey, Jill! So when your parents introduced this to you, tell us, first, how did they do it? How did they introduce this idea of foster care?
I remember we were sitting in the car, and they were like, hey, so we're thinking, do you want to take in some kids and just help them out, and they can live with us for a while? And all I could think was, oh my gosh, I'm getting a new sister. This will be fun, and we're gonna be new best friends. That's all, because I'd never heard of what it was before.
I was 5 years old, so my thought was, I'm getting a twin. It's gonna be great. We're gonna be exactly the same, and we're gonna just have this great time. It's gonna be wonderful.
Yeah.
So as you started the licensing process, which I'm sure you understand a little bit more of what that is now, but what were your thoughts as people were coming into your home and your parents maybe were talking a little bit more about foster care what it was? What were you thinking, or what were you feeling as you prepared?
Well, see, I was really, really excited at the beginning, but I started to get more nervous as it went along, because my mom explained, well, they might not want to play dolls with you all the time or something. And I'm like, oh, okay. And there was constantly oh, we got to clean again because we have another home visit. Okay, I was constantly having to keep my room clean, and stuff like that. But as a 10-year-old, I was just still excited and ready and happy and, anxiously waiting.
So you might not remember a whole lot of it.
Yeah, as I was little, my thoughts were oh, we have to clean, this is going to be great. I got to clean all the time.
Yeah.
And then it was people were always coming. I was ooh, new people. And then they just kept coming. I was I got to clean more.
Hey, Dan, thanks for joining us. So how did that change with the first placement? What was that first placement as you realized, okay, this really is what foster care looks like, at least for us in this moment?
So we got a sibling set. First we got our sister, and then we got one, and then we got our sister that weekend. And so it's crazy because it was Thanksgiving night. So we were all running around trying to get stuff and get clothes and food and drinks and bottles, that kind of stuff. And so, but they came, and they had some trauma in their past, and that once the honeymoon stage stopped, they started getting more mean, I guess. Not mean, but they were just really anxious, I think, and they would just lash out over little things. And
so as a 10-year-old, you interpreted that as they're being mean.
Yeah, they don't like us, but in reality, they just didn't know how to take the situation themselves. And so it was hard on our whole family because, you know, my mom was overwhelmed because it was our first placement and didn't know exactly how to handle some things. But we learned through it, and I think it was okay. But I think in reality, we learned, like, oh, they're not exactly like us.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't the happy always like we thought it was going to be.
I was excited because the first placement we had was like 16 months old. Like, it was great. And she was this little sister I was going to have. And so I, like, as a, like, 6-year-old, I wasn't, like, seeing, like, oh, she's angry. But it was, like, we were having a good time. I got to feed her, and I got to, like, get her dressed and pick out her outfits. I was having a good time. Because, like,
Yeah.
it was just great. But I was really upset because I didn't get to do everything because she was, like, heavier. And I was as strong as I could hold her.
Yeah.
But, and then, like, as I got older, I started noticing how, like, her and her sister, they had, like, I don't know, like, anger issues.
Yeah.
And it was different, and it was hard, but, I mean, I had grown up with them. They were, like, my siblings.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, Monica, thanks for checking in. So, you know, the first placement, that was tough. But you are 20 kids in now. You've been doing this for a while. What are some of the, like, sweet memories, some of your favorite parts of being a foster family?
When one time we went to Dollywood, we had season passes, and we took our 3 kids. They loved the little pigs, and so the 3 rides they could go on were the ducks, the pigs, and the bees. So they wanted to ride the pigs all the time, and as they would go around, they would sing the song, the theme song. It was great. It was really funny to watch them. They were just having a great time, and it was like they didn't care what other people thought.
Yeah, so creating memories for yourself as a child and as family, and then seeing other kids get to experience that and the joy of that. Yeah.
I just love when they're tired or, like, rested on or whatever. And, like, the last little girl we had, she really liked to cuddle with everybody. And so I remember, like, I was really tired one day, and she was tired. She just cuddled up on my neck, and we just fell asleep. And I just love those little moments when they're just, it's so sweet.
I think mamas, we can all agree that nap time is one of our favorite times of the day. So you've already picked up on that. So baby snuggles. But you guys have had some older kids too, or kids closer to your own age. And what's the difference?
It's definitely harder because you're always trying to find what we can do together, you know, and, like, what they like, and because we're all different, and, you know, and not every kid we get is just like us or wants to do the things that we want to do. And so it's just trying to find those things that we can all enjoy together and not making them feel left out, or, you know, it's not being weird all the time.
With the first daughter kid we had, she was older than me, but, like, we're still pretty close in age. And so it was like always having a friend at your house, you know?
Yeah.
It's like we have to entertain them, but it's different than having a little kid. You can just be like, Mom, can you watch it for a little bit? I need some alone time. But we shared a room. It's like you didn't have that own space away. And so it got to be a lot, but, like, I don't know, my parents were really good about, like, Ella, why don't you go do this? I need her to do this or whatever. And so, I don't know, it was good to have that time by yourself, but sharing a room and stuff, you didn't always get that like you normally do.
Yeah. So I'm hearing you say, like, there were some really good times, and just like normal family, there were some times where you needed some space, or there was some times where you needed a break. So what then maybe have been some of the hard things about being a family that fosters, some of the challenges as a kid?
Yeah, I know sometimes it's the attention that we get from our parents, because we feel like the more kids we have, the more attention these other kids need.
And there are sometimes a lot of kids in your house.
Sometimes there's a lot. And so it's feeling that, sometimes I need attention too, like on my achievements and stuff. But my mom does a really good job of trying to make sure we all have time with her. And, you know, if she knows when something's up, we'll come sit on my bed and be like, just talk to me, you know? And so it's hard, but sometimes they really try to make it
the parent coming and being really intentional and recognizing it in the midst of chaos,
that they're still there.
You need a moment that's special just for you. Yeah. I mean, I think we all need that no matter what, you know, in our friendships and any type of relationship.
I think it's like, with the older girl we had, she was like upset because she wasn't with her family, you know. But, so my mom would always go and, like, talk to her about it. And I wasn't ever, like, really good about, like, talking about feelings. I'm still not. But, like, my mom, she would just come up and she would be like, she'd be like, "What's wrong with you? I can tell something's up." I'm like, "I'm fine.
What's wrong
Like,
with you?
it's okay." So, but
Jill, you want to comment on that?
and so she would just be like, she would like sit there and talk to me until like we got to the root of the problem, because I would always like come up with an excuse of why I'm fine or whatever.
Yeah. So as we kind of wrap up some of our time together, and I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this, so I hope it doesn't catch you off guard, but if there was one thing, or maybe a couple things, that you feel like you have learned, like that foster care has taught you, or that you've seen in your heart or in your life, what might that one or two things be that you think foster care has developed in you?
I think it's like not everyone has had the same experience that we've gotten.
Yeah.
And so like it's just being more aware of like people are challenged. Like your problem of what you're gonna wear isn't that big of a deal, you know? And it's
So perspective.
yeah, it's just like it's changed my perspective of the world, and just like seeing that there's other people out there that are going through things, the same thing that you're going through, or harder, and it's just you always have someone that you can go to.
Definitely humility, because everyone around us, you see kids at school and you're like, why do you dress like that? Like, you can do so much better, take better care of yourself. But then kids like that will come into our house and you're like, like they didn't have that option. And it's really realizing like she said, like my problems are not that big. And like, even though sometimes, I need that kind of attention right now, I need to really, be more aware of everything that's around me and be more self-conscious of that.
It sounds like a level of selflessness too, of realizing that perspective of realizing, hey, I need to think about somebody else in this moment, that empathy, that level of care.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, as we wrap up, truly, tell us one piece of advice that you might have for kids or for families as they consider jumping into foster care.
Definitely keep with it, because it is hard and it's challenging, but there are good moments. And for one, you're changing these kids' lives more than you realize. Like, even if they don't remember you later on, like they're too little and they leave, but it will also change you as a person. And I think personally, it's made me a better person, and that humility and that selflessness, that's going to impact me for the rest of my life.
I think I said like it is a long process and it takes a while, and just to like she said, stick with it, because in the end, like, you're gonna have a great time and you're gonna have a lot of hard times. Like, it's not always gonna be easy, but if you work through those, you always get to the root of the problem, and you can help those kids more, and yourself changes. Like, you yourself will change a lot as you work with them. You notice things about yourself that you didn't always know.
So is it worth it?
It is.
Definitely, yes.
Well, I'm so glad that you guys got to be with us, because, I mean, if anybody knows you, you are just the best kids. I mean, and what an incredible example of kids in a family that fosters, that are truly thriving, and this family that really, is connected. And I know it's hard to hear that about yourself, but thank you so much for being here. And if you are considering foster care and thinking about the ways that, this might be challenging or this might be great for your kids, we would love to talk to you. Thanks, Christy. They're amazing. She says great advice. So we want to hear your questions, and we want to know what your experiences have been in your own families. So let us know. But thanks. We'll see you next week. Bye.